Oh, thanks for the Cyber Adolf. Thanks for the follow, dude. What's up? Let me focus on corner carry. Oh. Wait, what did he just say? You're more likely to be able to throw your opponents to the meter efficiency gets even better. That makes sense. No, I didn't even read the whole book. I have to read it. I haven't read it. I have it right on my desktop though. I need to read it. I'm gonna start with this Machabo little excerpt, and then we'll see. Like this Machabo little fundamental guide, and then yeah, I have it. I'm not sure. You might have been the one who gave it to me. She loses around miserably. Interesting.
あなたの練習してためくりは意味がないですよ。散歩公園行きます。パカパカ P ありがとう。
Damn, that's loud. This is Gillette stream. Oh.
配信だ。おい。書くんじゃねえ。でかい。
Yo, what's up, Elliot?
パカをかね、被る必要はないんだけど、まあ、ジレットで被ってたから。今そんなに。ないではないです。
Add content Gillette? That's pretty dope. Damn. Daigo is fucking killing it, man. He's fucking killing it. Right? What a walk, you know. Ooh, that's pretty good. Because it's not that hard to tech there. When I mean tech, I mean buffer there. It doesn't matter who throws the projectile. Yeah, I'm good, dude. I'm good. Just a long day, you know. So, I mean, that's a great time to look for super, right? Let's see if he's buffering. Can we see if he's buffering? Yeah, he buffers right there. Wait, what? What's up, Rama? Yeah. This. I was going to read this. Actually, I was going to put the audio thing on. But I wanted to make sure people were in here before I started, because then that would be whack. You know? Where did that come from? It's been here, dude. How do I play it on audio? Oh, this is it. How do I do this? No. No. Oh, here, read aloud. Message me in Discord. I want to follow along. Oh, I think I have it. Here, I got you. It's supposed to be really good. A friend of mine told me about it a while ago. Actually, you know, I found out about it, and then a friend of mine refreshed me on it. I never actually looked back on it. I downloaded it, and I just downloaded it again, even though it's on my computer, just to find it. Like, just to read it all over again. Where are you in Discord? I got you somewhere. There we go. And you can download it. Right on the front page, it has the PDF for it. There's a play button up top. Oh, there you go. Yep, there is right there. I'm definitely dumb. Okay, let's see. Maybe I'll finish this video and then I'll start. Actually, I'll just skip through. I just want to see what he says.
でもね、結構マジでオフだとできるんですよ。
Where did he go?
てか、こんなんじゃない俺今。
He didn't jump. Yeah, what's up, Dr. Swagenheimer?
てか、
How you doing, man?
マニアック。
He back through? Good. That's smart.
裏投げか。マニアックな選択肢だな。
What's up, Roxo?
まあ対空できんだよな今の。
That's a special.
ああこれヒットボックス。
Can anti that on hitbox.
ああこれヒットボックスなら対空できんだよな。
Oh, you can, huh? So, man, I suck. He says, man, I suck. Interesting. Pretty good. I think we ended up a little higher than even. This is how I watch videos, heads up. Oh, he's talking to himself. Yeah, NL's anti-airs are godlike. With Akuma, NL is pretty trash at the Cody matchup, though. So you could do that, huh? Interesting. It's good to know. Okay, so we're gonna start, okay?
PDF version 1.01 note. These texts required.
Is that annoying? I could just read it. It's kind of loud.
Is
that too loud?
Basic knowledge. Even if the content is.
I think that's kind of loud.
It's important for beginners. It is not the primary.
Let me see. Let me know if this is loud.
Intended audience. Note. Text is not yet fully proofread and edited. Basics, begin with anti-airs, it is crucial.
You read this guide? Yeah, well, I'm reading it now, Dr. Swagenheimer. So, you know, the less smart-ass lines you have to give, the better, okay? Not loud here. No? Does it sound fine? Do you hear it?
There are many different ways to attack from the air in GG. For example, forward jump, IAD, double jump, special moves, etc. You have to know which of your anti-air options are strong versus their air options. This differs between characters and matchups. It is therefore a question of knowledge. You can turn the tides of a game by successfully anti-airing.
Okay. I don't think everybody gets that, okay? I think people think they get it, okay? I think people will talk about it like they know, but most people do not know. Most people don't. So for example, a great character, right, to bring up is Akuma. Everybody knows if he back fierces you and you jump in, you have a lead, you can easily die, right? But the truth is, if we're talking about like just fundamentals and footsies, he will DP anti-air, right? In most situations. Let's say if the Akuma play, if you jump out the corner, something like that, right? In a range where back fierce won't work, a DP will happen. Well, when that solid anti-air happens, usually Oki will switch. Momentum will shift in their favor. And anything could happen. To be fair, that can happen with almost any anti-air, but it is more likely to happen on knockdown anti-airs, like back fierce, like fierce DPs, or not fierce DPs, like DPs. The deeper they are, the more Oki they get, too. So just a heads up that those can be round enders, because they are out of the corner at that moment. Oops. And they get Oki.
On the other hand, if you are weak at anti-airing, you could easily get bullied. I.e. being good at anti-airing is crucial for mind games to happen, otherwise they get to jump in on you for free.
So this is super basic, right? But there are players at high levels that are weak at this, and I was actually just talking about Prophet today, how he's really good, right? Super good, right? I would say for his level of play, very, very, very good. The problem is he doesn't anti-air consistently, right? When you don't anti-air consistently, you don't get an authentic representation of what would happen if both players are playing on the ground, right? Where they're trading evenly in the air and it's just a ground game, Basically, if he's out playing, it's the only thing I know how to do well. Yeah, so if you can keep jump-ins from happening, right, you can be sure that the exchange is only on the ground. And that makes a gigantic difference, right? Because then characters who have great ground buttons, right, but they have high recovery, get the huge payoff, right? So it's like, look at a character like Birdie, right? He's a strange concept because, or even Urien, both those characters, right? You look at both of them, they get so much off of their anti-air. Urien gets crouch fierce, right? The optimal anti-air, that is. Birdie gets crouch medium punch, which is a mix-up, right? Both super favorable, However, both of their character archetypes and how their normals work, you would assume that jump is actually the counter because of the high recovery and the high startup, right? So, for example, stand fierce, sweep for Birdie, stand heavy kick for Birdie, even not so much stand medium punch, but those three moves for Birdie, let's say, and even crouch medium kick, even though they don't use that so much. Urien, same thing. Stand medium punch, probably his best footsie normal. Stand fierce, low medium kick. Those are all jumpable. Every single one of them are jumpable. Even the stand medium kick. And that's why it's important to pick your jumps right. And that's why it's important as those players to have godlike anti-airs. And then if they land them, they can shift the momentum the other way. But I'm just saying there's a lot of players at the highest level. Not the highest level. There's a lot of players at high level. I don't know why I said the highest level. Who are weak in anti-airs, but they excel greatly in another area. But because they're weak in anti-airs, they can't move past, to the next level. So,
as a whole, there are 5/6 different types of anti-airs.
Did Diggle, I played you, dude. Your anti-airs are
These
goblin.
categories have fluid borders, fast moves with tall hit box, soul
This
5P,
is just Guilty Gear stuff.
player 5P. Upper body INB moves, Faust 6P, KY 6P, Soul 6P high/large moves, KY.
Start here.
All characters' moves are different, used in different ways and to varying degrees of success against different characters in various situations. As a matter of fact, it is your job to find out what works vs what, and if it is possible to do on reaction. Knowledge is always the first and most important step.
So, what he says is super important, right? In the sense that, like, everybody thinks they have an answer, right? Or they're like, let me just grind it out. And 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, that's not the right solution for the problem. So, for example, like, you have a million different situations in this game, right? Where the opponent might be negative, but you cannot hit a button, right? Or at first glance, right, when you look at the situation, first couple times you're like, okay, I can't hit shit, right? So then you're left to just committing with like a fireball to counter, which is jumpable, etc., things like that. Or still negative enough for him to hit another button. That's where it's important to take it to the lab and see if you have other options. And like you said, knowledge is always the first step. So you have to find counters per matchup, you know, before you just give up. But who wrote this? Machabo. Guilty Gear God Street Fighter player.
There are also moves that delay the jump in timing. E.g. Soul's Kyodekuro can disrupt your anti-air timing.
Machabo, he gets like consistent top 8s in Street Fighter 5. He's a Nekali player.
This type of move loses to a waiting opponent. G1 punishes Kyodekuro consistently by waiting, reacting, jumping up and blocking it and then throwing or hitting the opponent, depending on character. Another approach one should be aware of is dashing and then FD breaking to crouching. Many IAD attacks whip on crouchers.
Interesting.
However, this is all matchup specific, so it is up to
There's a
you
lot
to
of Guilty
find
Gear
out.
stuff right here.
Before the real neutral game on the ground can be established, you must master your anti-airs.
Okay, so I could believe that's his introduction, right?
Learn neutral game using the 3 structure. Here we introduce a leading concept, the 3 structure.
So this is what one of my friends talked about. So this is what one of my friends talked about and he said he learned the most. So this should be interesting.
Which is composed by 3-part concepts that can facilitate decision-making in the neutral game. An active neutral game can in the large scheme of things be divided into decisions regarding 3 different types of moves. 1. Okiwaza, 2. 8-waza and 3. Sashikaeshi. 1. Okiwaza means that you preemptively make a move.
Link me to that shit. Yo, it's crazy. People don't know about this. Or they know about it, but they haven't, you know. They haven't looked into it. I got you. Linked. Too late. I already linked them, dude. You're too slow.
E.g. because it covers a certain space, or because it wins against certain moves.
So the first step, right? No problem, dude. So the first step, right? Swag, send anyone else a link if they ask, I guess. Also, why is Swag not a mod? I'll make him a mod in a minute. So first of all, there's a lot of situations you do this, right? So a quick one is the opponent is negative. I love the Honda emote. I just got that, guys. Heads up. So there's a lot of moments where you would do this, right? Let's say the opponent is negative, right? Let's say after like headbutt isn't a good example. A lot of -4 shit in this game is kind of hard. But let's say something that you would challenge right after. Let's say like Heavy Hands by Honda, right? You would immediately put something out. Or let's say something better. Let's say if you're Colleen, right after Tech, and you do like Stand Fierce, you're just putting something preemptively out there because it's active, because it's going to hold a certain amount of space, right? Because it wins in certain moves. So here's another one. Bison is a great example. So what you do is like heavy ball, and then you would do like light scissors, right? Or heavy ball, and then the EX ball, because the EX ball actually beats every option but jump, right? So that's something that Bison actually very good at, right?
2.
And a Bison player would be more inclined to use. That's the mind game they use. Yo, look at Honda, boys, going crazy. Sumo.
8 was a means doing a move that will hit waiting opponents.
Hit waiting opponents. I guess like dolphin dive for birdie. Dash in or do a low hitting move. Oh, okay, or like EX Zonk, I guess. Right? Sick. Yeah, I saw that. I heard it was spam for like 10 minutes. Sheldon looks guys' asses. Hey, what's up, dude? No problem, bro.
EG. 2. Dash in and do a low hitting move. 3. Sashikashi means waiting for the opponent to make a move and reacting to it.
That's actually mostly what I do, right? Punish a whiff move. Preemptively make a move is something I'm not always consistent with. You know?
EG2. Dash in, FD break and then
You have the whiff punish
punish a whiff
in
move.
raw neutral.
Which move that is which depends on the character. Somewhat simplified you could say that, Okiwaza beats 8 Waza. E.g. Faust's 2H stopped you trying to dash in and hit the opponent. 8 Waza beats Sashikashi. E.g. KYS-2 stopped you trying to dash in and forward breaking. Sashikashi beats Okiwaza. E.g. KYS FS whip because of your FD break, and then you whip punished it with your own FS.
So, I think we can easily see like certain players who are more inclined to one than the other. And a lot of that I think has to do with your character, right? And maybe the level of play that you're at, right? You're not too old to whiff punish, get out of here. So, if Sako can stop dashes with jab, you can too. Well, maybe not, but something close at least. Preemptively whiffing. Here's the thing: preemptively throwing, right? It's because it doesn't mean it's a whiff unless it does whiff, right? So throwing on a move to cover a certain space because it wins against certain options is what he says, right? So throwing one out doesn't necessarily mean whiff unless you guess wrong, right? Because the victory is hitting on hit or block, right? Depending on how negative the move is. What's interesting is, as soon as people read that, they think it's bad. I think that would be people's natural inclination is to think, oh, well, I fucking whiff my button into V-trigger all the time and I get fucking smoked for it. That's what people probably think right off the bat. But he's not connecting it with something negative right off the bat. I think it's probably the reader that would do that, right? So we're gonna move on and say what it actually is, right? I just wanted to put that out there first. So preemptively putting out a move isn't necessarily bad, because there are certain situations where you can always delay jab, right?
I.e., 1, 2, 3, 1. These interact differently depending on matchup. Anti-airs also fit the 3 structure, e.g. you can anti-air on reaction or with Okiwaza. Generally you could say that many players on the higher levels often go for Sashikashi because they are mostly reactive. But in the grand scheme of things, one approach is not enough. Interactions within the 3 structure will always emerge.
That's a good way to look at it. So that's actually something I just mentioned a second ago. I said a player would be more inclined on something based on their skill level, right? But being more inclined on something obviously doesn't mean that you're always going to be sticking to that playstyle. Because solely reacting this game can be taken advantage of in this game, you know, in fighting games in general, right? Just look at Takedo versus Punk in their most recent grand finals.
E.g. Soul 6P, as Okiwaza, wins as a counter hit versus KYSFS, as Okiwaza, at certain ranges. This happens because Soul 6P's hitbox and upper body INB interacts with the hit and hurt box on KYSFS. E.G. Faust's 2H works against many characters Okiwaza because its hurt box is behind the hitbox.
What's up, Keith? So, so I guess this would generally be a whiff punish normal, and it's combating the approach of just throwing out a normal. The reason why is because the hurtbox is behind the hitbox. So that's like a busted normal, basically. That's one of those busted. That's basically Zangief's sword. So that would be perfect for whiff punishing, right? We could say that clearly, right? At least in this context. So in situations where you would be waiting, but you know they're going to be throwing out a normal. Thanks, Maureen. Thanks for the host. This is going to be a little academic stream. Oh, shit. It's going to be a small academic stream, but now it's going to be a big one, dude. What's up, miss? What is up, everyone? I would have punished the red farts for everyone. Dude, red fucking fart power. Fuck. Dude, I'm fucking teaching here, bro. Keep it down, the class. How are they going to listen? How's the class going to fucking pay attention? I'm teaching people footsies here. Damn. Thank you. Thank you for the host. Okay, I'm going to go fall to my death. Alright, peace. Later. Peace out, Maureen. See ya. See ya.
If you
Fuck. Thanks for the host. Thank you. Thank you for the host. Sorry, sir. I'll sit down. Sit down and fucking open up your ears. Or else. You guys don't want to go to detention in my stream, okay? How's Maureen not a sub? I don't even know. Not a sub. Not a mod. That's the one. I read submarine at the same time. I was like, what the fuck?
Understand the logic behind the 3 structure and their...
Okay, so having busted normals is just enhances the waiting, you know, approach. Obviously, though, that's just second nature, you know. Yo, what's up, Goose?
For the mind games that emerge from it, and do your homework on different matchups, you should be able to take important steps forward.
Okay, so is this like a good way to like approach like... Can you link this? I guess I'll just link it in the chat, right? There you go. Anybody can look at it on the PDF, right? So this is just like a good way to like look at overall situations, right? If you'd be like, okay, Birdie just popped V trigger, he's negative, right? I got a life lead. You know, you're looking at risk reward with this mindset, right?
Tips for long-term development: try to avoid doing risk-filled moves, e.g. greed severs in neutral. That wins you games online just because you win with them.
I think that's a lot of people in chat, dude. Anyone speak up, please. If you just do stuff online just because you win with it sometimes. Anybody? Any Laura players in the chat? Anyone? Anyone want to say something? Where's Mylin at? Huh? Where are you guys? OG on? Someone? Anyone? Any birdie players? No? Where did I find this? Someone told me about it like maybe 6 months ago, maybe more recently. I just never got to reading it, and here I am. I'm reading it now. What's the question? No, he's basically saying that he's saying try to avoid doing risky stuff that you purely win on with just online. You know, that's what he's saying. It's just a win sometimes, and mostly it's online. He literally says online. He literally says online. So he's saying, don't be online. That's what he's saying. Because in the long run, it's not consistent. Machabo's guide to abandoning Guilty Gear. There's even less money in it. What's up, Glenn?
You will improve in the long run if you attempt to acquire this way of thinking.
That's right, be more consistent.
There are certainly many ways to have fun with fighting games, but we urge to inspire passion and ambition. Think long term and you will understand what's beautiful about GG. Smiley face. It becomes more enjoyable for you and the one you play against.
Smiley face.
About combining the 3 structure with anti-airs.
Okay.
To correct.
This stuff is super important, right? Because I already know he's going to say something, right? I know what he's going to say is that you cannot focus on a specific move and anti-air at the same time. Or you cannot focus on anti-airing and then react to a specific move. Laura main right here. What's up, Dark Glass 777? What's up, dude? I respect that you have honor in it. You fucking don't give a fuck. Ban? No, it's okay.
Misunderstanding. you cannot do your go to anti-air option on reaction against some moves. Therefore, you must do Okiwaza as anti-air.
So you're saying you have to preemptively do certain things as an anti-air, which is an interesting concept because everybody relates anti-airing with reactions. You know, a lot of people test reactions purely by anti-airing. You do long distance jumps, close jumps, you know. And if they have anti-airs at all ranges, then you know their knowledge and their reactions is actually pretty high. It's a quick judgment, you know, you can make.
You have to find something else that you can use to anti-air this type of move on reaction.
Okay, so that's if you do have a move that is quick enough. Say if you're in charge and you're in flash kick or Cody, you have V skill.
It can be rather hard to react versus opponents that jump. Remember that one of the more regular approaches is doing moves that cover certain spaces, buffered into another move in case the previous should hit.
Right. So the reason why this is important, what he's just saying now, is there are certain strategies where either a dash or a jump can come, right? And one of the first people to actually counter the strategy that I was using, that I saw Takedo doing, was actually Mandrake when I played him. He would throw out a normal that would both stop dash and jump, right? And then I would have to set up a whiff punish off of it, but I would have to use a different normal. So I was basically playing off the fact that he thought I was going for the original two options, but I went for a third then, you know? But this is interesting that he says that you buffer a move, you're using the preemptive button, right? Using the preemptive button to beat this up, to beat the jump and to throw out to cover space.
Under this sequence, you could advantageously both 1. React if your move hit, 2. Observe if your opponent jumped.
So what he's saying is if you want to cover a jump as well, basically in the mindset of preemptively throwing out moves, you would do things like this. You would throw out one move that would hit, then you would throw out another move that combos into it, right? But also stops the jump if they do it. So there are actually a number of moves like that. There's a ton of them. It's any medium normal into another medium normal that actually combos, right? So what you would do is you would do like, let's say Cody's, let's do stand leg kick and the crouch throw, right? And if they jump, you could see that it would combo. You see, you would see that it would hit, but it would stop the jump. So this is partly what he's saying. It's not the best example. Something that would be the best example is like stand strong. I'm doing something right now. I'm teaching a class, bro. I've been waiting. I'll play you tonight. I'll play you tonight, I promise. 100% I'll play you tonight. I'm learning footsies, dude. I'm whack. I hate my life. Dude, you're playing Lucia. I would hate my life too. You should play a fucking better character. Like Ken. What's up, Reese?
You can use dash into crouch in similar ways, because IAD attacks often go over crouchers.
That's a Guilty Gear thing.
Example, so
yeah, this is Guilty
FS
Gear.
2s and 2s whip because the opponent jump equals time to anti-air. Zato does 2p FS and 2p whip because the opponent jump equals time to anti-air.
Checking dash is not so much about, I mean, this is going to be funny to say, but checking dash is a lot of it is not reacting. A lot of it is just timing, you know. You see the dash and then you press the jab based on when you think it would end. That's the best way to stop it for me. Because I don't react to, oh, dash. I just say dash, okay, it ended about here. You know? That's just the best way for me. Yeah, I like it so far.
It is good to
pretty
look
simple so
at
far.
the same time that you are doing moves on the ground.
Oh, that's interesting. Saying it's good to look upwards at the same time as throwing moves on the ground. So I guess you would throw a move. And actually, I do this with Shotos, right? And one of the people I learned from doing this was actually Gemin. So for example, you'd throw a crouch medium kick and it would hit, right? Normally crouch medium kick is negative, so you wouldn't hit another normal, but you might do a Hadouken. But usually if you hit a crouch medium kick and you don't convert off of it, it's just a raw crouch medium kick. Well, what do you do after crouch medium kick on hit? You should usually see what the opponent does, right? Because you have already chosen not to hit another button. So you wait to block and see what they do. But a great thing to do is watch up to see if they jump. Because why did they get hit, right?
2. Decision making based on risk reward. Basics first. Not only are there a lot of options in GG that you need to know how they interact with each other, You also have to make decisions based on a risk-reward perspective, hereafter only risk-reward, to be able to win more consistently. What are you thinking about when you make decisions? What is the mind game? E.g., what are you thinking about when you're trying to stop an air dash? It is important to know why you are making a certain decision. Machabo let us review 2
I like how they call him Machabo.
case studies to emphasize this.
Yo, what's up? What is up, dude?
Case
What's up, Rick?
study, 1 Soul jumps. On the way down a low air dash JSJH will win against KYS6P, equals damage for Soul. KY can however commit to an Okiwaza 2HS to win versus slow at JSJH, equals damage for KY. But
So I guess what he's saying is, to beat certain things, you would do like a preemptive normal, right? Which would lead to damage for you, right?
Soul can instead choose to land and do GB or dash 2D to punish a whip 2HS, equals damage for Soul, but if KY has burst and Soul doesn't have 50% meter, it is a guaranteed punish against GB, equals damage for KY.
Yeah, we're getting deep into the weave
Use
shit right
words.
now. Oh my god, it's so deep.
Equals the KY player can now make a conscious decision based on the situation based on risk-reward.
Okay, so that's with meter.
Risk-reward is therefore not about avoiding all risks.
See, I don't quite understand all the Guilty Gear stuff, but I'm trying to. Not avoiding all risks. Let's see. So it's not about mitigating risks.
Instead, it's about making conscious decisions taking different factors into account.
So it's not necessarily about mitigating risk.
Often positioning, damage, tension and life.
I wonder why he includes tension in that. It's interesting.
By playing games you will find yourself in types of situations that you need to know more about often. Doing your homework after games is important and fun, because it gives both short-term results, you know what you're going to do against X, and long-term results, you learn how to think and build a knowledge base. Case study, 2 Soul gets a knockdown after 2D banded revolver in the corner. What can happen if Soul wants to break your defense with a mix-up after his jump? The text is gray because you should think for yourself before you read.
Oh, I see. Okay. Scholarly shit? Dude, I'm reading fucking fighting game theory. This shit's crazy. It's some Guilty Gear god that's moved to Street Fighter and he's super like successful basically. But this is like essentially like the basics. This is fundamentals.
1. Low air dash JS, high. 2. Empty jump in low 2K/2D, low. 3. Wild throw.
So high, low, or throw. That's really that's what you should take away from this. He's saying what should you do after jump, right? Basically to mix your opponent up, right? Let's say that.
You are KY. What beats what?
What beats what? I learned about this article from a friend a few months ago and it goes in depth. Problem is a lot of it's Guilty Gear, so
KYSVT wins versus low air dash JS, 2K, and command throw. But Soul's 2D wins over KYSVT, so VT with KY beats everything a Soul player does except empty jump in 2D, or if Soul just blocks. But what to do versus empty jump in low 2D? being 2D is very good, because it is punishable on block, as long as the Soul player doesn't do VV or bandit revolver directly afterwards. If the Soul player actually does that, the situation becomes terrible for him.
Oh, I kind of get what he's saying. I see. Okay, so basically he's saying like the opponent will cycle through his options, right? Okay.
But what to do versus a Soul that only blocks? Throw or a bar shortly summed up. The KY player can now make a conscious decision based on the situation based upon risk-reward. VT wins versus Air-JS, 2K, and Command Throw, but loses versus 2D. I being 2D gives KY a very advantageous situation. Throw or a bar beats a soul that only blocks. It isn't about finding an absolute answer. Instead, it is about understanding the situation and making a conscious decision based on the risks that are present. This can then be applied on specific.
Is this learning stuff? Yeah, it's Machabo's little fundamental guide. I think a lot of the Guilty Gear stuff, quite a bit of it can actually be ignored.
Players and thereafter changed back and forth as the game/games continues. Risk-reward is therefore absolutely not about avoiding all risks. Instead, it is about making conscious decisions based on different factors, often damage, tension, and life. For more detailed thoughts we have to go into specific matchups. We will only go through some simplified examples to show how the decision-making process can be done.
Oh, I see. So he's giving you tools basically to take this to your matchups. See, this is where I'm not sure if this is applicable 100% because this is definitely just Guilty Gear. So we'll just play it anyway.
RCS are very strong, but RCS lowers your tension gain after you use them, which means you will receive 80% less tension for 6 seconds after using it.
Don't know what that is.
Therefore you should think carefully before using meter for RC. There are many.
RC's done a fly. Yeah, figured.
But if they don't, think before you use your burst.
Okay.
That someone is bad at bursting is not something to laugh about. I think it is a sign of serious flaws.
Burst probably doesn't apply, but maybe it could work for V-reversals?
Machabo. The reasons Machabo says this is because either the player has no knowledge about when they should burst and needs to do their homework, or the player is too emotional and has no actual control over when and why he bursts. Therefore, the latter is linked to the knowledge question and another point we haven't touched yet, namely that it is all.
There's a burst feature in Street Fighter. Let's not put anything that sounds like a burst in Street Fighter, okay? We already have V-triggers. That's already crazy now. I'm getting older, and as long as things slow down, I'll be happy, okay?
Always better to keep calm in fighting games. A whip blue burst means you lost your entire burst.
Seriously?
As opposed to if you hit it where it will return to 20%. Find out when you can burst.
Last fucking way I want to lose is like Birdie's V-trigger one in tournament, okay? Why not try Samurai Showdown? I hear mixed reviews, and I'm not really interested due to them. So, like, one, I don't really have time for a fighting game, right? But it's so funny because I hear from like intermediate level players, like players who are somewhat successful, that it's all neutral, right? Like lower level players, it's all neutral. But when I ask the highest level players, they tell me it's all gimmicks. So it's like, when I hear that, I'm just like, okay, I know I don't want it. You know, I'm like, no thanks. Like literally every upper level player I've talked to about it, they're like, it's all gimmicks. Like, it's like some characters have neutral, but they all have to abide by like gimmicks. And I was like, oh, okay.
First versus different characters, because it is matchup specific. Some choose to also focus on gold bursts versus
fastest normals with 4 frames. Probably. You gotta understand a lot of gimmicks work on 4-frame characters, right? There's certain things that are 4 frames, right? But they're only punishable by 3 frames, like scissors and stuff at certain ranges. There's certain things that are only -3, and because you're a 4-frame character, you have to hold. There's certain things that are 0, but a 3-frame character holds, so a 4-frame character has to hold. So 4 frames, I don't know. I think they need to fix the negatives in the game. I think a lot more things should be -4 in this game, like upside down kick by a Guile, right? Things like that. More things need to be like -2, you know?
to some characters / players. The important thing is that you know when and what. Short about the importance of game philosophy to continue evolving, there are many different ways to have fun with fighting games. You are allowed to play and have fun, mash like a fool, or just do crazy specials all the time. It is however not the road to become good at fighting games. It can also be plainly boring for players that are trying to learn to play versus someone that isn't even trying. At the same time, it can also be incredibly fun to play versus an opponent that is trying to learn and does their best, even if they aren't very good yet. It is noticeable on the playstyle what they are looking for in their play. It will become more fun for you and for your opponent if you really try, and it is okay that it takes time. Results don't only appear in form of number of won games, it also shows in the content of the matches. It can therefore be a large difference between a 110 set and a 1 to 10 set.
Yeah, so
Smiley face.
Smiley face. So definitely, I always smell blood. Always. So that's actually a really good fucking point, right? And this is how I've always learned, is when I lose, it's not a loss, right? It's not necessarily a loss. I'm reading to you guys. What's up, Miss J? So, like, when I'm learning a new character, I know I'm going to get fucked up. And if I don't, good, you know? But you kind of know that you're going to get put on the chopping block eventually. People will figure out your character, and you're eventually going to get fucked up for a little while. And if you didn't learn in the beginning, you're going to eventually learn, right? So you need to take those losses and kind of really learn from them, because if you don't, you're fucked, right? And that's why it's not good to feel bad about something when you're applying new knowledge, because you're just going to lose. You're going to lose when you're applying new knowledge, right? Whenever I try a new strategy, I'm always going to get washed in the beginning, because sometimes you don't know how to implement the wake-up game with your neutral strategy. Sometimes your neutral strategy is just half-baked, you know? And even if you have the Oki game all set and you're godlike on offense, you just don't get it often enough because your neutral game isn't all set, and it's a new strategy. Or sometimes it only applies to certain matchups. Actually, that's most often the case, depending on your character. If you use a character like Akuma, it's usually applied on almost all matchups, right? Like a jump dash kind of fireball mix-up, right? Anything to make basically to set up a free dash. That's basically applicable on every fucking character. The risk just gets higher based on different characters, right? But Akuma can actually do it, whereas Cody can't even fucking do it because his cross-up is so bad that you can late anti-air it and be behind the opponent and still get an anti-air, right? So he's not exactly the best to do every strategy, and that's how you can tell how good a character is how many viable strategies can you create with them, you know? Like, if you look at any strategy with Ryu, you can basically apply them to Akuma. And then there's more strategies, you know? Some characters have twos. Yeah, exactly. I don't even think about mix-ups. You definitely have to. Definitely got to practice them.
Many people that pick up GG have a tough time keeping up because they experience that everything happens so fast. This is essentially a knowledge question, because they don't recognize moves and therefore cannot register them in time. Give it some time and you will adjust quickly.
Smiley face.
Smiley face.
So the reason why that's mad important is our reactions from the beginning of when we play to the current time are probably relatively similar, right? Our reaction times didn't necessarily get better. We just got better at registering what we've seen thousands of times. So when you see a jump, you're used to now reacting in a certain window because you've seen that certain animation so many times, you know, that your brain is like, oh, you want me to react to that? Okay, yeah, I'll stop that. Okay, I gotta hit a button now. Okay, I gotta hit a button now. You see? And then it's reacting to like dashes and stuff. And there is some carryover, right, of, okay, he's always reacting to these 16 frames, 14 frames, 13 frame things, right? He's always reacting to those. Okay, well, maybe I can react to like a 25 frame startup that I'm not used to seeing. You know, there is some carryover, right? So that's why you see things where, like, you're able to whiff punish things that you normally don't see whiff at certain times. And it's just because you're focused on something faster and then you see something else, right? It's not necessarily that your reactions get faster. You just get more, like, familiar with animations and what to do, you know? So, yeah. What he says here is whenever you start something new, though, you definitely have no reactions for it. Like 9 times out of 10 when you start a fighting game, you can't even fucking anti-air jumps, you know?
3. Defense. Build a knowledge base where decision making in GG offense is very strong and all characters can get knocked down from many of their combos. Doing your best to reverse the situation that follows is therefore very important. Even on defense, knowledge is the first and the most important step. Even on defense, one should start from risk-reward when making decisions. Only from understanding what beats what will facilitate mind games. What beats what is not only about which moves you have that beat the opponents, it is broader than that. It's about how you can make the best out of a risk-filled situation.
Mm.
In
And that kind of correlates to what he said before about how risk reward is not necessarily about mitigating risk, right? It's like you have to look at the all-encompassing kind of situation, right? Of like health, damage, tension, etc. What he was talking about. I started SF5 was fighting him and I couldn't comprehend how to cancel an ability into a special. Here I thought people were superhuman. Now I know it's now you know how easy it is. Yeah, I got better reactions to anti-airing a bit more. Yeah, over time. You just see them, right? And then you'll see characters like you just can't anti-air, like Blanca. Because he has a fucking narrow jump, right? A fast, narrow jump.
2D fighting games, down back is the standard alternative on defense, whereas overheads and throws are something that the opponent tries to break your defense with. Useful distinctions about what your opponent's moves are is if they are
Yeah. Some characters just don't match,
mix-ups,
you know, they
aim
don't match
to
with
break
you.
your down back. E.g. Milia's Bad Moon, Overhead, Bedman 6H, Cross Up, and Soul's Wild Throw.
Yeah, I try not to play more than 2 fighting games, for sure.
Frame traps, aim to kill Uravar, e.g. Soul 6P, chip CS to CS or KYS 5K to 5HS pressure.
So frame trap basically beating another normal.
Aim to continue attacking.
So I would assume pressure is kind of like, it's more of a situation than just frame trap, right? It could just be like your turn isn't over kind of thing. It could be like anything from whiff trap to like a button into a dash. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah. I'm playing Tekken, so I know how it is.
Different characters have different moves that they can use when attacking. They also have different moves that they can use when defending. Therefore, defense is very often about matchup specifics because they are dependent on the interaction between the two characters and players.
He doesn't even need whiff
This is
traps.
what mind games are born
from.
But even here, there are some fundamental principles and techniques that can be learned and then later applied to matchups and opponents. If you apply risk-reward to decision-making on defense, you should ask yourself, what does the most damage in which situations? How does this change if the opponent has e.g. more?
You take my Kodia with your Lucio? Definitely not. 100% no. It's the most damage, which situations? How does this change? The opponent has...
or less tension. What alternatives do you have versus this and how do they...
How does this change if the opponent has more or less tension? So I guess if they're more or less... What's up, mysterious Jimmy?
Change depending on the situation.
So is tension a resource in Guilty Gear, or is it just... Is he referring to something else?
Once again it becomes a question of meter, life, tension, burst, and a question of positioning.
Weed meter? Oh, okay. Okay.
Mid-screen, you in the corner, the opponent in the corner.
Let's see. Question of meter. In position.
The answer to these questions becomes your decision base for your decision making regarding risk-reward. With that said, let us begin explaining by going back to case study.
Oh, it's gonna be hard to understand again. It's Guilty Gear talk. Yeah, you just need to matchup to fight Wolfgang, that's for sure.
2. Because it is a classic high/low/throw scenario, we stated that Soul's empty jump in 2D is a low mix-up that also wins versus KYS reversal VT. Now we imagine that Soul has a
VT, that's a V-trigger.
Of 50% tension.
I guess tension is when you're like your hands are shaking, right? So it's 50%.
All of a sudden Soul can do 2D Tyrant Rave combo for over 60% damage. And gets 25% tension back. If KY did VT, Soul still gets a strong punish, and even more tension. But IV2D is still a response from KY, since he either gets a punish or forces Soul to commit to options that require him to burn tension, and therefore also tension gain. Soul could have taken notice to this behavior and instead gone for a high or throw. Tips. For the overwhelmed, the idea of learning what converts all characters receive from a whole slew of setups can feel overwhelming. You can begin by simply playing versus people and trying to register what happened during the games and what starters were used. General defensive options FD, faultless defense, gives you extra pushback, the opponent is pushed further away from you, gives you extra block stun, 2F on the ground, up to 4F in the air, you take no chip damage, your guard bar does not increase costs tension, and gives you 1 second cooldown to tension pulse.
This reminds me of a view reversal if I'm reading it correctly.
The extra pushback, and block stun, gives you more time to react to take throws, because they have to dash in and wait longer to be able to throw you. It can also make the opponent's moves within their gatlings, which sometimes enable punishes. It differs between matchups, but in general it is good to FD an opponent's first attacks.
So these are defensive mechanics.
Block, barely any pushback, the opponent remains close to you, you receive less block stun, 2-4F on the ground, 6-8F in the air, you receive a bit of tension and your tension pulse increases.
Let's go here.
Learning how to use both FD and IB,
it's kind of weeb
the
talk right now.
strongest defensive options, fuzzy a bar / jump / block / throw. Before we carry on, it must be mentioned that in this, the strongest defensive options, fuzzy a bar / jump / block / throw. Before we carry on,
I think we're pretty deep in this Guilty
Gear
Gear talk right now.
Additional defensive options. You must first accept that mind games will emerge because even these have weaknesses. However, if you want to become really good at GG, you need to know these. Fuzzy a bar / jump / block / throw are all terms for a type of option selects where you perform a series of inputs that begin with block that in GG primarily exploits how startup frames, hit stop, block stun, and throw INV frames work. The areas of use are often specific, and are often used on wake up and specific situations in specific matchups.
It's a completely different game, right?
However,
it's gonna take time.
Defensive options in GG because
it's useless to hold yourself to standards like that.
Decision-making situations. Fuzzy a bar equals very strong in safe jump situations, should preferably be done with a fast move that hits upwards. Shortly summarized, fuzzy a bar means doing block, hit, block where the timing of the hit is during block stun of the first move the opponent would have it done.
So it's a frame trap. It's a frame trap he's talking about.
This is done to 1. Block and then 2. Hit the opponent before certain moves / mix-ups have finished start up. Example.
Yeah, dude, Gemmin, this is why you're still losing with Lucia, bro. You need to do some like some studying, bro.
In this example, Fuzzy a bar wins versus KY's entire so-called mix-up. If the KY player doesn't.
This is all Guilty Gear stuff. Mind games. Let's start here. How about that? This is a bunch of malarkey. You might be right, honestly, at this point. Let me just keep skipping.
Mind games emerge only when both opponents have a firm grasp on the options. E.g., if you only do a specific high-low mix-up against somebody that can fuzzy block it, you could easily think that the opponent is simply godlike and can block everything on reaction. In reality, the opponent is not a god, and there was no mind game because those two options that you alternated between simply doesn't become a mix-up unless you show that you can do a third option that kills fuzzy block.
Oh. Just fucking win every time. You don't need this shit. Good point. Thanks, dude. See, Mysterious J coming in with the clutch. He did mention something important, and that is like there are certain options, right, where like let's say like delay jump or some shit, right? Let's say like delay jump against G, you know? It's like if you don't introduce the fact, oh, Chris CCH, dude, thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the host, man. Yeah, let's get the Honda emo in the chat for Chris CCH, dude. Let's get that Honda emo. Where are you at? Oh, yeah. Look at him. Don't get that Brutus face out of the chat. God damn it. Get that Brutus face out of the chat right now. We're fucking reading Machabo right now, dude. Oh shit, a new emote. You like it, right? It's sick. I think it's sick. I'm thinking about another one. I'm not sure what to make though, guys. I'm thinking like Dalsum's face and then canceled right over it. Right? Because, you know, I play Honda now and Honda's the pure counter pick. I'm not sure though. Yeah, I'm thinking Dalsum canceled is one. What I was gonna do, my face. Do you see Mr. Crimson Sin matchup? No. Unless he's telling me how to beat Sam, I'm not interested. Okay, so this looks good. I like what he says here. In the sense that you have like a 1 and 2 mix up, but you're not adding something else. Yo, where do I find this PDF? I'm gonna post it in the chat. So you do like basically you're thinking a 50-50 like command grab or fucking medium punch, right? But let's like give G as an example. Delay jump is pretty good, right? Against G at times. But then he starts doing something like fucking delay medium punch, right? Like slightly delayed medium punch. Stand medium punch. He starts fucking you up and giving you a lot of damage. And that's another layer you're adding, right? He says you need to add another option like that in order to make your original mix-up strong in the first place. You know, depending on the opponent's skill level, of course. But I fucking do that shit all the time by accident. I don't do it. I'll do like command grab or fucking light jab, light jab, light jab. How do you think it took him to make this? How long do you think? I think he had probably always been writing it because even I like write a lot. Like I've written quite a bit. If I even showed you guys like some, I have a couple notes, right? I need to start making character folders. But on my phone, I have experiment, which is just like something that come off right on my head, or right off of my head. I just write it down right away. It's because I might be laying in bed. I might be, you know, driving. Not that I text while I drive or anything. I might be out. You know, I'll just write it immediately. I might be at work. I write it immediately as soon as I think of it. I might be watching a match. I write it immediately just to try it later. You know. Then number 2, I have like things I've tried before. Right, that were successful, I put them in a different folder. I'm like, okay, tornado tech on wake up, etc. Right, I'll be like strategy. I'll be like notes, you know. And then I'll have little character stuff. I'll have a couple players on here, you know. I'll have Sim, and yeah, Beefcake House. What's up? What's up, King? I have a bunch. I have neutral chaps. I wonder what that is. Oh, I see. So certain ways to activate V trigger. Right? Yo, what's up, Ty? Yo, Ty, why aren't you mod? So, like, I have certain ways to activate V-trigger, too. So, like, you could do, like, tornado, heavy tornado, right? Or, sorry, light tornado, and then immediately EX. And then it's a free V-trigger if they jump, you know? And then if it hits on block, you can jump for free after. And this is at a certain part of the screen. See? So, it's like neutral traps, little things like that. Of course, it's not as good in certain matchups. So, I mean, I write everything down. This guy's been playing Guilty Gear forever, so he's probably been writing it too. That's what I would assume.
There are many examples of this relatively common phenomenon where...
Yeah, let me fucking mod Ty. I'm going to mod you right now. Don't go anywhere. There, I modded you.
Then inexperienced players think that they lost mind games when in reality there wasn't any.
So, yeah, you just got modded. Bitch, you're not going anywhere. That means you have to mod my chat. You can't go to sleep anymore. You can't go anywhere if you're playing a virus threat. I'm not clicking that. I don't care. Okay, I clicked it. I'm gonna close it. Right. No problem. So, what he's saying here is, as we said before, if you do not put another layer of mix-up in like a two-way mix-up, then sometimes the opponent is just doing something, like they're delaying something, and you never actually get, like for example, let's say like tech. They're doing delay tech. You're throwing in your frame trapping, but you can't beat it. Well, now you need to add delay frame trap. Now you need to add shimmy, right? And if you're a lower level player, you don't catch on, you know, because you don't do that third layer of mix-up, right? So now you're thinking you're losing the mix-up. That's what he's talking about.
If someone just waits patiently and you do something punishable on reaction doesn't mean you lost a mind game for SE.
Wait patiently and you do something punishable on an action. So basically, if you guess wrong. I can't help it. What, you can't help what? The bread was good.
Instead, it shows that you did something in a situation where it wasn't a mind game.
They did something that wasn't in a mind game, so you're thinking, you're Oki level 9. Share with me next time. Share the bread.
But if you know what you should do to avoid this, and show it, it can become the first option to a mind game.
But if you know what you should do to avoid this and show it, it can be the first option to a mind game. What the fuck does that mean? What you should do to avoid this. Oh, I see. I see exactly what he means. Right. Right. Exactly. I see. Yeah. Right. Or, for example, you don't go to step 2, right? You don't go to fucking Yomi level 9, right? When fucking 3 and 4 are working. You know? You're not like, oh, he's gonna fucking walk forward, then delay jump forward. You know? You just like, okay, let me just fucking throw into EX butt slam in case he maybe neutral jumps or backdashes. Right? It's like, let me just keep doing it. Let's see. This is what... Oh, why am I reading?
This is what Machabo wants to emphasize.
Machabo, boys. Machabo in the house.
Even for mind games, knowledge is the first and most important step. Only from understanding what beats what mind games can emerge. He also recommends the following if you
Only from understanding what beats my...
want to become skilled at fighting games. Take no shortcuts by relying on a playstyle that emanates from options that work just because the opponent doesn't know how to handle them.
Fuck. That's like me in a nutshell, honestly. Feels bad. Like, I fucking beat people because I know how to play neutral and they're whack as shit. That's the truth. And then I just rely on that. Or number 2, I just do V-trigger 2 shit. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I'll just do frame traps. They'll think I'm going to command grab. Or I'll be like, oh, EX zonk when I knock him down. Really? You can just press buttons on it. You know? It's like shit like that. Well, that's for sure. When I do play serious, I actually have to take it a step deeper. But that's when you realize Cody's whack. Because it's like, oh, I can't win with that anymore. I gotta do fucking legit shit now.
Machabo.
And then you'll realize I'm godlike. But Cody is whack, and then you're like, why are you playing that character?
If you do, you could easily get stuck in improvement and therefore not be able to win versus players at the higher levels. One last note.
So, the reason why that's important is, he said do not do stuff that you kind of rely on to beat certain level players, right? And the reason why that is important is because I play a lot of players, and I'll lose to them just doing gimmicky bullshit, and then I play neutral, I'll fucking wash them. But even then, a lot of my neutral is based on like reactions and stuff like that. And I played Gustavo, and as soon as I played Gustavo, I realized, okay, well, what the fuck do I do if they're not going to whiff? If all of their game is on literally hitting me on block and only throwing fireball when I will throw a normal, then it's a losing strategy, right? So now I need to stop focusing on whiff punishing. And as Cody, if you're not focusing on whiff punishing, the only way to like really create a mix-up is to walk into their space. Because if you think about it, none of my normals that are confirmable, like, if I do crouch strong, I can't go into zonk, right? And it's confirmable because it doesn't combo though, so it's a problem, right? Then I can do like, when is Google Doc on Hoji Mentals? I'm not getting into that. It's kind of deep, bro. It's really hard in neutral because, for example, if I do a normal into fireball, you can just jump and I have to block. I actually can't even anti-air you unless it's a certain normal, right? Unless it's like a high hit stun normal, right? So then I have to throw a high recovery normal, and if I whiff, I'm fucked, right? Whereas G has these, he has a button and go into the light buffer from far ass range, right? Where he can reach me from very far if I choose to commit. And then his fireball also kind of fucks me up too. Actually, his fireball is godlike versus Cody. So it comes down to me taking the risk, right? And G can kind of just play around my character at that point. That's how I feel anyway. If the G plays reactionary, I actually have like literally, I just have to literally outplay the fuck out of them. If they play reactionary, I'm kind of fucked, basically. But I have to outplay the fuck out of them.
Even players at higher levels are also humans and cannot be right in all decisions where mind games emerge. Equals it is solely about knowledge and execution.
Sent me page 1 on Hoji Mentals. I was sitting under a waterfall meditating under cold water chanting Red Storm. It's literally paragraph 1 of his first page. Yeah, there's a lot to it. You don't want to get into it.
Both decision making and inputs. Initiator and receiver in mind games.
Who has the advantage? This is what I want to get to. This is super cool. Okay, if it actually teaches me anything, but I was actually thinking, I've been thinking about this lately. And basically what this is you got people who are kind of imposing a strategy on you, and then of course each person who is getting hit by the strategy, you know, they're watching whoever initiates, they're giving the strategy, the other person is receiving it, right? So it's like, who has the advantage? Of course the person giving the strategy right off the bat, whoever implements their strategy first, is winning, right off the bat. But I want to see what this guy has to say about it. Let's see.
The answer is that the initiator has the advantage.
Pretty obvious. I got the answer already. Fuck, I can't hear you. Can't hear what?
Who is the initiator though? And why does the initiator have the advantage over the receiver? Initiator is the one who is in a favorable position and can initiate moves that the receiver has to adjust to.
Okay. So he's not even talking about necessarily strategy.
Usually this relationship isn't very obvious, but Axel versus Soul, full screen, can work as an example.
Okay, so let's say like Sagat Cody, right?
Axel is the initiator and Soul is the receiver.
Why?
Why? Axel has reach and Rensen-Iki wins versus everything on the ground.
So let's say like Sagat has reach and his tiger shot wins against everything on the ground versus Cody.
This forces Soul to maneuver around it.
So similar to like Cody having, which is a basic counter to fireballs, neutral jump, right? Sim versus Cody more like, maybe you're right. Yeah, so it'd be like his limbs, right?
Who has the advantage? Axel has the advantage because he can choose not to do Rensen-Iki.
That's fucking... See, this is where there's a complete overlap between games. So, Dalsum's strongest option, once he's established that he will throw a normal on block. Oh, does he? Okay. Is the fact that he doesn't have to throw a normal. So then the Cody player commits. That's literally it. Dalsum can throw a stand medium kick and throw a jab no matter what, pretty much. Like a delay jab, and still always react to a dash or to a jump at most ranges. So, me committing is basically a plus for him.
Soul, however, must get in and must use IAD or Bandit Bringer to win versus Rensen-Iki.
Where am I reading this from? Somebody post in the chat, please.
It is therefore not a RP's mind game, even if it is a RP's mind game.
Yo, what's up, Shorty?
Soul can do IAD to win versus Rensen-Iki.
Here, I'll post it in the chat. Oh, he PM'd him. Okay, he's gonna PM you probably.
Axel can do anti-air to win versus IAD. Soul can dash in to win versus anti-air, equals get closer, but it is still not a RP's mind game because Axel has the advantage as the initiator due to reach and how moves interact. Axel
I'm literally just reading Cody. I was watching you versus Neon. Pretty funny, right? His V-Trigger won.
Doesn't need to
I kept like getting fucked up actually. I was getting a little fucked up. I was like, damn, I forgot about this V-Trigger.
do Rensen-Iki.
It's pretty funny, right? Yeah.
He can do anything, but Soul cannot.
I'm glad you liked it, dude. I'm trying to put more YouTube content. I might put this up on YouTube after.
Soul has to think about several options. Primarily, what shall I do versus Rensen-Iki? In other words, Axel has the projectile and Soul is the one who has to maneuver around it. To make the situation even harder, Axel also has the up follow-up from Rensen-Iki.
Yeah, that was funny.
Even if Soul avoids Rensen-Iki, he has to think about the follow-up.
Yeah, that's really fucked up. This does remind me of Dalsum Cody. Honestly, it's really just Dalsum Cody off the bat because Cody has no real follow-up, right? This is actually the end. That's crazy. So, for example, if Dalsum actually hits a button, I have to know what's coming next. If I don't know what's coming up, if I guess wrong, it is a losing battle for me, right? So, for example, he could do stand medium kick, and still always anti-air, right? Before I get into this, I'm going to listen to the rest of it.
Thus Axel as the initiator has the advantage of reach that forces Sol as the receiver to respond. This is the base of the initiator has the advantage in mind games philosophy. Initiator, that is in an advantageous position, forces the receiver to make a decision based on the circumstances.
So the reason why that's important, right, is because there's a lot of matchups, right, where personally I see, like, even Dalsim Akuma, right? I'm going to look at these matchups. Dalsim Akuma, for example. Dalsim is still in advantage, right? And it's for that reason, right? He has the advantage in neutral mind games, right? Because he is the initiator, right? And once you're forced to wait, you're no longer in advantage. You see? So once you're forced to wait, you're no longer in advantage. This is interesting, like, philosophy. This is an interesting way to look at it, because it's definitely, like, it's obviously, I don't want to say objective. It is all subjective based on, like, resources and why you're waiting and where you're waiting, right? But let's say, for example, like, just Ryu versus Dalsim, or Kuma versus Dalsim, or literally any matchup except for Colleen and Rashid, right? This is why I like Honda versus Dalsim. Because he is, you would say that Dalsim is the initiator, but he has to worry about my offense almost as much as I got to worry about his offense. And when that's the case, him being the initiator, right, but it's to a far much less degree, maybe even Honda is the initiator, it changes everything, you know? I got the flex on Bear Pop. I'm the 10th best Cody in Canada. Godlike. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Colleen is terrible for Sim. But she's obviously the initiator in that matchup. And as soon as the role changes, Dalsim is fucking ass, you know? But he does body a bunch of characters in neutral for that reason. Like Akuma, etc., whatever. Until they get him to the corner, until they get him on his back, he has to switch the momentum on him. He has to get out in order to have that dominance again, you know. And that's what is good about Dalsim, you know. I just find it very interesting, you know. This is why I like Honda though, because I can take risks in neutral with no punishment. I'm the 5th best lore in my city. I know neutral. I'm gonna slap you.
The Axel vs Sol example is very clear. You can also apply the 3 structure on this relation. The distribution between who has the advantage and the disadvantage entirely depends on matchup. It is only about the opponent. It is only about the opponent. How careful is the opponent? How risky is the opponent? Kazunoko mind games emerge between players. Different players have different tendencies in different situations. What cements the framework for this is matchups. Some elementary principles on what you should look for are the following. How is the opponent maneuvering? Does the opponent tend to take greater risks? Does the opponent tend to minimize risks? What moves, and how much, does this opponent rely on them?
That's probably something I should look into more, is that last thing. Because those 3 things in the beginning are actually what I look at the most. So, for example, I actually look at literally how the opponent is moving. And when I see a shift, when I see a change, I know they're looking for something else. I know they're going to do something else, one of the two, right? Like when I see them walking back and they're walking back, I'm like, okay, maybe he's waiting for anti-air, right? When I see them doing a long wavy movement and then short, then I think they're trying to react to something. Or they're trying to do like a plus frame move like Dolphin, or sorry, not Dolphin Dive, but like EX Demon Flip, for example, right? Dolphin Dive, some momentum switcher, you know, EX Fireball, etc. Hoji will get hit by overhead sweep, confirmed. For sure, 100%. What's up, Todd? So I think that's super interesting. I just need to take advantage of this because I think I fall in this category, right? Where opponents can see me and they'll be like, oh yeah, he zonks at this range a lot, you know? You don't know this? What do you mean? Yeah, no, I was saying as an example, Elliot. I was saying an example as in movement.
It is all about the opponent, and the opponent at higher levels will be thinking the same thing. Therefore, mind games emerge in a constant interaction between two players, level of knowledge, decision-making from a risk-reward viewpoint,
Yeah,
execution. Henceforth mind games must always keep to a predetermined interaction between two characters.
Mind games must keep to a predetermined interaction.
Anti-air options, moves within the 3 structure, offensive/defensive options. This is one of the most fantastic things about fighting games, smiley face.
Interesting. So, this level of knowledge as well, that's actually something you have to find out. Mind games, I'll tell you something about some top tier mind games. Dash of V-skill with Cody, then dash of grab. That's definitely godlike, for sure. 100%. That's right before stun, right? So you get the stun on throw and you just kill him. So, level of knowledge as well. These things here, right? These 3 things here, level of knowledge, you're trying to find out, right, throughout fighting them. My problem is obviously like risk reward based on these things. That's what I need to figure out. So for example, risk reward when I have a command grab versus an aggressive opponent, things like that. What I should look at is what moves the opponent relies on the most, right? So I should look at that. That is interesting. In neutral, right? So I don't actually quite look at that. I look at just like their normals and how they're moving. Whereas I should look at the moves they're actually using the most and why. So I should probably look into that. Pretty interesting stuff. It kind of just does remind you again what I already know. So it is interesting. What are some things you can apply to Street Fighter? So really all it did tell me, right, was this is mad funny, but really all it did tell me was that Dalsum Cody's fucking terrible matchup, because fucking this matchup right here that they mentioned, Axel versus Soul, is literally the same goddamn thing. Oh, mind games, like walking behind your opponent on the 17th floor of a hotel. Yes, exactly. And then number 2 is what moves they use more often, right? So that's something I need to look into as a player. Mind games keep to a predetermined interaction between 2 players and to your options. So these are just things to look at. These are just keynotes, essentially. It's like you need to understand the level of knowledge the opponent has. You need to work on your decision making from a risk reward point, right? Let's say anti-air options based on your ranges, super important. Moves within the 3 structures. I need to look at this again, the 3 structure. I'm gonna look at that one more time because I don't think I fully grasped it. Right? Let's see, where is it? Damn, I read all this shit. I went through all this. It's because I read fucking slow as shit. So let's start here again. Okay, so I think basically what you could do with this, right, which is the difference between preemptively throwing, right, doing something that will hit a waiting opponent, right, which is like dashing, for example, Control F3, shut up, Mako, or reacting, right. You should look at situations. You know, you could basically look at any given situation and see, is the opponent aggressive, right? What does the opponent like to do here? What moves do they like to do? And are they risk-based, you know? Say Hoji will get shimmied in a high-rise building because he's only looking to tech the grab. That's for sure. So, I think basically what you need to do is you need to, work on basically putting this in situations that you see all the time, you know? Which is pretty interesting. This is, of course, with the other things in line, right? With, risk reward based on how they are. Aggressive, right? Passive. Waiting. Not waiting. What they like to do. So I kind of see what he is saying, right? I wish he would have gone more into, momentum, you know? And switching momentum. Yeah. The grand scheme of things.
Reactive. But in the grand scheme of things, one approach is not enough. Interactions within the 3 structure will always emerge.
Let's try this again.
To correct a relatively common misunderstanding, you cannot do your go-to anti-air option on reaction against some moves. Therefore, you must do Okiwaza as anti-air.
This is like some deep fucking philosophical shit. You know why? Because I think about it, and then I'm like, damn, this is so simplistic. And then I'm like, wait a minute. If you try to apply this to fucking everything, it kind of gives me a fucking headache, to be honest. So, for example, he already went over applying it to mix-ups, right? Which is like always adding another layer to make sure your opponent isn't always like just doing the same option. Like, for example, if you're doing a tight frame trap and fucking throw, right? You're like, or sorry, let's say, yeah, tight frame trap and throw. He's always fucking teching your throw, but he's not getting blown up for the frame trap. Then you're like, what the fuck? This guy's blocking every time and teching, but you never shimmy. You see, so you're never doing another option to keep them mixed up. It's like, when I think about stuff like that, and then I think about the strategy, I'm like, this shit is pretty intricate, but I'm like, that shit gives me a headache to think about everything. And then I think about some other setups, some other strategies I used to do. Like, there's this one that Taquito does. It's fucking really good, right? Where he would do, what would he do? He would make you think that he wanted to jump or do demon flip or fireball, and then he would just dash in your face. I mean, damn, I like fighting games, but I don't know if I had the time to read full paper. Well, it's alright, I just read the whole goddamn thing, so now you don't have to read shit. Like, instead of blocking a jumping, you can't anti or just move. Sure. I need to read this shit again eventually. There's too many Guilty Gear comparisons, though, here. I just need to start looking at situations. That's how I feel. When you start looking at situations as a whole and keeping the three structures in mind, it's sick. So, what he says about, like, an opponent waiting, right, and dashing in, right, for example, like to dash in or do a low-hitting move, right, is like, let's give Dalsum Cody as an example. One thing he'll do is he'll do stand medium kick, and then he'll do delay jab. Well, at these times, these are times you can move forward, right? That's a victory against a waiting opponent, you know? Mostly knowing your character's frame numbers versus opponent's frame numbers. No, it's not, unfortunately. It's really not. Because there are situations where Akuma is -6, but if you throw out a normal, you will not reach unless it's a crouch light kick. And even then, you whiff a lot of time, and then he can whiff punish you 100% of the time, basically. So frame dead is not the end all, be all. It's just timing and reaction. Well, the problem with that is there are strategies to beat reactions. So, for example, if you're waiting for dash, right, and the opponent gives you fucking 5 other things to think about, then you will not react to dash. So, for an example, if I literally just pull up Punk versus Taquito, I think it was like NCR or some shit. Maybe it was like SoCal Regional. I don't remember. It wasn't SoCal Regional. It must have been NCR. What he does is he does a normal, and then he does fireball, right? And then he'll do a normal into crush counter. And then he'll do a normal into dash, right? So now Punk is thinking about a dash, right? And he might get checked that time. But what he'll start to do is Punk is thinking about the dash. So now he'll do a normal into jump. And when you're thinking about dash and you wait, you've already waited when jump reaches like this point. So he can't use crouch fierce anymore, right? As Karen, right? He's gonna land in cross-up position whether or not you like it. That's once he's committed to waiting for something already. And he did this to Punk for the entirety of Grand Finals, and I think he won 3-1, 3-1, or maybe 3-2, 3-1. He did this strategy. So eventually it led to him getting free dashes, though, because he started to wait for the jump. You see? So it's pretty interesting stuff. And once he sees the dash, the strategy to beat the dash is to whiff immediately. Because you can whiff and still anti-it, right? After he throws a negative normal. The problem is, he doesn't always throw a negative normal, so it turns into a frame trap, 1. And then, number 2, it turns into a whiff punish game. So he can throw a normal and he doesn't have to frame trap you. He can throw a normal, wait, and then whiff punish you. He can throw a fireball, wait, and then whiff punish you. And now the mix-up is fucking a million layers, because now you're thinking about jump, which was the first mix-up. Now you're thinking about dash. Now you're thinking about whiff punish, you're going to get whiffed. And now he's just walking up to you and fucking throwing you. You see? So now he could just play neutral with you, when usually Karen dominates the ground game. If you watch that, I think it was their last set, it's a really interesting display of strategy by Takedo. Because he mixes all that stuff with like demon flip and stuff just to keep Punk focused on the air so he can dash in his face. With Zeku has similar stuff you could do. The problem with Cody is you can't always do that because there are characters that cover it. Actually, it's not even that. It's just that cross-up is so bad you could just anti-air with same side anti-airs. He actually did it to Mena's birdie. He tried to do it twice. It worked once, and then he fell the second time. The strategy isn't actually that crazy hard to beat. It's difficult, but you can definitely beat it. It depends what you start with, you know. If you recognize the mix-up early, and then you would throw out like a crouch light kick early, you know, to stop the dash, and then you would anti-air the jump, that kind of thing. You don't want to get lulled into the mix-up, you know. But yeah, it's interesting to see different strategies like that. As I said, it kind of falls into the fact that like characters with more tools have more strategies, right? So your or my character might not be able to do these strategies, but we can watch Takedo and all these players pull them off. It's hard to think about all these factors when you're in the heat of it. That's what you think about it before. And the only things that you cycle through are, is the opponent passive? What does he like to do? Is he aggressive? Right? Has he had enough of it? You see? That's kind of it. Seems like ass. I think Cody does fine. I think it's even. I think it's even. That's one of Cody's few even matchups. Alright guys, it's been a fun stream though. Let's see, who do I got here? Oh dude, I got 7 notifications on Twitter. People like me. Why? Why do people like me, dude? Yo, I actually got 35 people listening to that. That's crazy. Yo, you guys actually like to learn. It's tech to play clean and passive the first set, then play hyper aggressive the second. Actually, I think it's the opposite. I think you have to play hyper aggressive and then you have their respect. But young Zeku Cody rolls. You might be right. You might actually be right. I actually have more trouble with young. Teach me, bro. I'm already done, dude. I finished. I gotta go, bro. I gotta get out of here. I'm sick at Tekken now too. I'll fuck you up. I learned how to beat your backdashing nonsense. All you do is fucking backdash and shit. Funny shit ain't funny, man. It's not funny anymore. Okay. I'm looking at my notifications. I've got a bunch of followers, guys. It's actually crazy. Got a bunch. Let me see how many followers. I got 998 followers. Almost at 1,000 followers. Yo, give me the gym. Tekken? But when are you learning Soul Calibur 6? I'm not. I won't do it. I can't learn that many fighters at a time. My fucking brain will explode. Guys, I'm probably gonna go to the gym soon. I'm gonna fucking swole tonight. Understandable. Oh. Fucking give me the Honda face in chat, boys. Honda. Let me make fucking Silas mod too. Fuck feminism. It's all about Cody clips. Yo, that's all I care about, bro. What's up, Slavic? Hoji's eating a whole cake tonight, that's for sure. A cake of victory. What's up, Slavic? What do you want? Yo, Tega's streaming? I may host him. Sadgi Flood? I might host Lud. Who knows? Who should I host? Love you, bro. You're great. Thanks, dude. What is this? Your homework? I was just looking over it. Honestly, it's like kind of interesting, but it's like I didn't know. Yo, I get my hitbox tomorrow. I can't wait to reset all my fucking progress. Yeah, I finished it, honestly. You know what, Silos, dude? Oh, fuck, it's Blue Hell in the chat. Dude, pain, power, blood, destruction, hell, Blue Hell. Fuck, dude. Yeah, no, Silos, you'll fucking love it. I've gotten used to it already. I'm used to it. I feel like I'm equal skill already. It's been a week. It, like, literally didn't take long. It took me, like, 5 days. The first 3 days, I kind of had the inputs down, but my walking was ass, and then my fucking wrist got mad sore. But after that, I've been 100% pretty much. So you're gonna get used to it fast. Once you find all the little shortcuts, you'll love it. I still haven't even got the shortcuts down because I don't play Tekken enough. I'm kind of whack. I literally play Tekken like 5 minutes a night. Like, that's it now. And then I fuck people up. I like fuck people up in ranked. I'll dip. I'm like, nah, son. All I do is launchers now. It's actually it's my favorite thing to do. Do I host Tega or do I host Lud? Who do I host, guys? Just gotta not be a dumbass. I laser beam people. Like my nemesis, Red Sun. He's right, actually. Bro, get a wrist brace like a tryhard. I'm gonna get one of those little masks. I'm gonna get one of those little white masks. So I can be like fucking weeb captain. So I can be captain of all weebs. I should get both braces and a fucking thing. A fucking little white mask. Like a doctor's mask. Get a waifu mask and some chalk. Yeah. It's fine. Put the chalk on your hands and play hitbox. I'm fucking done. I'm gonna host someone right now. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. Let's play Tekken. Dude, I gotta go. I gotta pick up my brother from work. Damn, I didn't get any more texts. Feels bad. Powder all over my PS4. I'm done. Yo, tell me who do I host, guys? Who do I host? I need grip strength for my fucking hitbox. No, you don't, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? You definitely don't. 100%. My left hand did get all fucked up, though. Let's play Tekken. Dude, I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm putting my glasses on. This stream is over, officially. I'm obviously trolling. Sure you are, dude. It's funny shit ain't funny, man. Dude, I'm going to the beach, bro. It's funny shit ain't funny, B. I gotta say, I can't even say that on stream. I got blown the fuck up on Twitter. I need some pigeons to attack me. Good shit, bro. Yep. I thought those were the mission shades. Nah, son, they changed. The role changed. Peas in the tub. Dude, we all need pigeons to fucking attack us, dude. We need to get this shit over with. The thing is, I would host Tega, and I like Tega, but nobody wants to watch fucking Akuma. That's the problem. Am I right? No one. No one wants to watch Akuma. No one. Not on this fucking planet. No one at all. There's people in the chat who would rather fucking get into a coma than watch Akuma. What about 56K? Is he streaming right now? Yes, he is. Okay, I'll host him. You're smart. Alright, dude. I got you. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna host fucking 56K. I put Ghost. Ghost. 56K. Bart. Thanks, dude. Hosting. See you guys. Red Storm. Red Storm. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I wanted to play something. Fuck you. Oh, shit. Shut the fuck up, Alan, before I give somebody else a sub to you, dumbass. Alright, later. Red Storm. Red Storm. Honda, boys. Honda. Oh, shit. There, now I did it. Okay.